So I'll start this out by saying I am not in any way associated with the Ghost supplement company. But I love Swedish Fish. This thing tastes exactly like Swedish Fish. Not gonna lie. And I digress. So let's get into this Monday motivational words of wisdom, words of affirmation, whatever you want to call it. I know a lot of times I like to find ways to help motivate. I shouldn't say help motivate you, but help you find the motivation that, you might be lacking. Today started a little different. I found it from someone else in a very strange and unexpected scenario. That being said, watch this intro, and I'll be right back. Man, I'm telling you, it's like they liquefied a bag of Swedish Fish and put caffeine in it. All right, so I spend a good amount of my time, obviously since my motorcycle accident, I started marketing a lot, spending a lot of money on marketing and a whole system set up. And I specifically market to men between the age of 30 and 55. It's not that I won't train women or powerlifters or bodybuilders, or I kind of do that on a case-by-case basis. But in terms of virtual training and my online marketing, it's specifically directed toward that demographic. Why? Well, I'm 39. I'm right in that demographic, and I'm a dude, so I get it. I'm a lot of the things that the men that I interact with, I'm a lot of the same things, right? Father, business owner, partner, all of the things, right? Busy, but I still want to look and feel a certain way. Just because I have always been a trainer doesn't, make me immune to the same struggles. But that being said, while I can pick and choose the age range, and kind of niche down a little bit into who I'm marketing to, I can't always predict what's going to happen. And it just so happens that this morning I had a call scheduled with a gentleman in South Carolina, which, ironically enough, it's the first time I've ever had someone from South Carolina book a call in response to my ads on Facebook and Instagram. So I was pretty excited. Now, if you know anything about South Carolina and, the South in general, there are certain dialects that are difficult to understand. Now, when I first moved down here 6 years ago, I couldn't hear anybody. I didn't know what anybody was saying. But this is funny, I've had a couple of these conversations this past weekend about dialects. And the longer you live in an area, the more you understand what people are really saying and how they speak. So this gentleman I'm on the phone with, man, I understood every word coming out of his mouth, and the speed at which he was talking was, again, 6 years ago, I would have been lost. But that's neither here nor there. That's just assimilating to your environment. So this guy in particular, he wants to lose a good amount of weight, and I won't get into any crazy specifics, but he wants to lose a good amount of weight. Pretty heavy guy. He's healthy thus far as I know, but he's currently unemployed. Now, I've had quite a few conversations with people that are unemployed. Obviously, COVID has been a game changer for all of us. It's affected every single one of us. But I have a brief survey as people book calls to speak with me. I have, a pretty thorough set of questions, and I ask if people are employed. If they're self-employed, if they're, whatever, unemployed, because I want to know. And ultimately, my job, right, is to sell training. My job is to sell me in my program. So I got to know as much as I can going into it. But I can't speak for other people that are in the online space. Excuse me. I just burped some Swedish fish. Way better than a garlic burp. But anyway, I can't speak for other trainers and coaches in the online space. When someone tells me that they're not currently employed, listen, if they book a call, I'm going to take the call. And I make it very well known that just because I'm on the phone with someone doesn't mean I'm going to try to hard sell them. I don't hard sell anybody. I might not jive with you. You might have all the money in the world and I might not like you. So I don't want to work with you. So I give everybody the same effort and the same time. And I try to solve some problems for them. And I say, no matter what happens, whether we decide to work together or not, I want to make sure that you get off the call with me with some actionable content, some things, some real steps to take, like real things, not some BS like get this free stuff that's useless. No, I'm going to give you an hour of my time and give you some beneficial things. Well, this gentleman in particular he's struggling to find a job. He spent some time in and out of prison. Again, what he's done before interacting with me is irrelevant. As far as I'm concerned, if you're out of prison, you paid your debt. Well, unfortunately, you still have debt to pay after you're out of prison. Not only do you have a criminal record, whether it's a felony or whatever, so you're hard-pressed to find a job because you have to disclose that. You also have to pay, in this instance, it was a parole fee or whatever. And this gentleman owed about $1,000 still. And was hoping to move to work for his brother in another state. Great. Can't move though. He still owes money. So obviously the first probably 15 or 20 minutes of this phone call was it was background. I wasn't talking about training and nutrition at all. But there's always a way to, I'm trying to help you out. Even if and at this point I'm pretty sure I'm not gonna, it's not going to be a fit for coaching at this point in time. Doesn't mean ever, but I'm still gonna go and I'm gonna try to give you as much value as I can, even though at that point I was fairly certain this isn't gonna be a client. And I said, man, tell me about your diet. You don't get to 310 pounds overnight. Tell me about it. Get into his diet. I said, I used another client as a reference, and I said, what about, do you drink sodas? He goes, yeah, man, I have about 10 sodas a day. And I was like, boom, there we go. I said, how much is each one of them? He goes, they're about $2. I said, listen, how about you cut them in half? Because if you have 10 sodas at $2 a piece, well, I just saved you $10 a day. Okay? So if you owe $1,000 and you cut your soda intake in half, well, and you're saving $10 a day, I just gave you a deadline of 100 days. Well, I also smoke sometimes 2 packs of cigarettes a day, which are, I think it's $8 a pack for cigarettes. So I said, okay, cut it back to 1. That's $8. That's $18 per day. I said, look at the facts on the wall. In 55 days, your debt is paid. And then you can go get your job with your brother. You can move. He was like, yeah. And there was obviously a lot. It wasn't as quick as I'm giving it to you. It was, it was a lot of him talking and me listening. That's what a big majority of this is. But by the end of the call, I said, look, I'm going to connect with you next week, same time, next Monday. I'm going to call you up, and I want you to give me an honest assessment of where you are. Because if you do it right, I think the number was $126 he would save in 1 week. $126. And the moral of this story isn't about money. It's about putting a realistic goal down and taking steps every day to move toward it, even if there's small steps. In this case, we're looking at a monetary thing. So we're talking a couple bucks here and a couple bucks there, but it adds up. So in your own training, watch this full circle shit. In your own training, a lot of times the goal, the journey, the length of time that it's going to take to get there is overwhelming. Maybe you've got 100 pounds to lose. Whatever. Maybe you just had a serious injury and you had surgery. Take steps. And I made a video a while back about being 1% better every day, but this is it's no different, right? It's more than one way to skin a cat. It's the same scenario told a different way. Small changes applied every single day are going to add up. What seemed overwhelming at the time of owing $1,000 to secure your freedom, for lack of a better way of describing it, it's overwhelming. That's a lot of money. If you don't have a job, you're not making steady money, $1,000 is a lot. Hell, $1,000 is a lot for anybody. But 55 days is a very finite amount of time. It's less than 2 months. At $126 a week. $18 a day. And that's just to start. Imagine if you do 2% better every day. 1% is the bare minimum. So all I'm trying to say is it's a real world example of me, out here proclaiming, hey, you should try to be 1% better every day. No, really, you should. And that's a very tangible, very objective and measurable goal for this gentleman in particular. So set objective and measurable goals. You're going to work out 4 days this week for 45 minutes. That's objective and measurable, right? Whatever your goal is, whatever your goals are, obviously, set big goals. Don't set little ones. Set some big fucking goals. But take massive fucking action every day. Just a little bit. Maybe you want to read 10 pages a day. All right. That's a lot of pages at first. But 10 and 10 and 10, they all add up. 75 Hard is a great, it's a great example, right? Because you're taking massive action every day, but it's ultimately it's a small chunk of time that you're doing. 75 days is not a long period of time. So in this instance, 55 days, definitely not a long period of time. And imagine if you're cutting out 5 sodas a day and 20 cigarettes. I think there's 20 in a pack. I don't know. I don't smoke cigarettes. Let's just use that as an example. You're cutting out 5 sodas a day and 20 cigarettes a day. Think of the positive health effects of that. I'm not even talking about money. You're obviously going to save an assload of money, right? $18 a day is a lot. That could almost get you a gallon of gas. But the amount of calories, the amount of sugar, the amount of shit that you're saving your body from having to process, that is going to pay dividends well beyond helping you save money. So making good decisions when it comes to your health, there is a monetary aspect to it. And that should never have to be first. But for some people it is. If I can get you to save money it'll get you to save your life. Conversely, if I can get you to save your life, I can get you to save money. So that's my thoughts for the day. That's just a little bit more in-depth discussion about being 1% better, but it's the little changes that you overlook. It's not about cutting out soda completely, although you can. Maybe you should. Who am I to say? I've said it 100 times. I like cheeseburgers. I like bourbon. I like cigars. Will I drink less bourbon? Yeah. Will I cut it out completely? I don't know if I will. There are times, but permanently? It's all about moderation. But making those changes will have compounding effects on your life. And I think I've said enough, because I think it's time. Yeah, it's time to go train. Love you guys.